Hello, thank you for joining me on this topic that I love to speak about, which is spirits. In most of my videos, I talk about the spirit, which is that subtle part of you that was there before birth, before conception, and took the physical form, and you possess it until now. Your spirit is there. It helps you to understand spiritual matters or to see the spiritual world. But now spirits, these are entities that inhabit the spiritual world. So in order for you to understand or comprehend matters of spirituality much better, then you must transcend this limiting belief that things are only just physical. Most things, their causes and effects are not physical. The physical effect is simply a manifestation of a spiritual influence. And even in your life, you may have encountered instances where you knew someone, but then they automatically switch on to something. Or sometimes people are just toxic and you can't tell why. And it's simply because the spirit is using them. They have allowed a spirit to take possession of them. And so I am going to talk about how spirits use us or use people, and why spirits love us so much, and how also you can protect yourself from the false spirits that use us negatively. So spirits are different from angels. Angels are higher in rank, all right? Spirits are more dense, all right? So if you look around, you can see things simply because they are dense, they are crystallized, all right? And the spirits are less dense compared to the physical world, but they are more dense if you compare them to the angels. And that is why some people are able to see spirits, right? Because spirits are more dense in as much as you can't see them physically, but they are more dense compared to angels. And spirits are more of a vibration, and that is why they're able to communicate directly into our brains and influence us in a direct way compared to angels. The communication of the angels is more subtle, very subtle, and you cannot interpret it or understand it with the brain, but you can understand it more with the heart. And if you are tapped into your spirit, then they are able to communicate to you more directly. And sometimes angels, when they want to communicate to us, they use spirits to communicate to us. Unfortunately, that is where the corruption comes in, because we have cunning spirits, con or fake spirits that often interfere with the message that is meant for your personal growth. So if you're not well tapped into your spiritual essence, then the communication of the angels, or good communication that is being relayed to you, is likely to be corrupted or watered down by malicious spirits who simply want to corrupt the knowledge. Spirits can influence us, they can communicate to us, they can drive our behaviors. And if you are not of a positive behavior, then you're going to attract spirits of a similar nature. And if you are of bodily desires, then you're going to attract spirits of such desires. So you can have spirits of addiction, you can have spirits of sexual immorality, you can have spirits of gluttony, all right, overeating. You can have almost any sort of physical behavior has a spiritual compatriot that you can attract. And so this is why if you are going to venture onto spirituality, you must take the act to cleanse yourself, to have positive virtues, because these are what are going to attract the positive spirits into your life to guide you. You should never ever try to get these spiritual gifts when you are of low bodily natures, because most likely you're meeting con or fake spirits. And we have things like, for example, someone wanting to be clairvoyant or mediumship and so on and so forth. These are just people interacting with spirits, but they have taken shortcuts. A true spiritual person is one who cultivates his spiritual discipline journey by journey, having the right positive virtues. True and good spirits of truth are not cheap. They work only under integrity, no shortcuts. That is why you must take it upon yourself to build yourself and not just venture into the world of spirituality simply because you want to gain a certain gift or you want to get something out of it, or maybe you want to be powerful at manifesting physical things. That is material spirituality, which in the long run won't serve you. True spirituality is where you work with your inner spirit and the guidance that comes from God. Let me share something that if you become true in your spirituality, that is, you let go of the old habits that violate your spirit and choose new empowering habits that helps your spirit to grow, then the old spirits that had a relationship with you, they will use someone if they're not able to get to you. So they will use someone close to you to get to you. They can see thoughts and emotions as physical as we can see the physical world, all right? And so if you have an attachment to someone, let's say for example a family member, or a spouse or your wife or your husband, right? Then they're able to see the cord that connects you to them, and so they know exactly the right person to use. They will try to use this person to get to you, all right? So that is why you are as strong as your weakest link. If this person is not strong, then they are going to bring a lot of nonsense to you and try to get to you. The intention is simply to shake you off your groove, your spiritual groove, and just let down your defenses so that the enemy can attack. And what you should do, my advice is to always respond to the spirit using the person, not the person, right? If you respond or react to the person, then you're going to be caught in a physical war. But if you respond to the spirit that is using them, then you are going to point a direction where this person later on, when they're reflecting, they are able to see that I think something was wrong here. And once they know the portal or the gate that the enemy is using, then the enemy is most likely to not use that portal again, okay? So spirits, they don't like when they are caught, all right? So spirits can be feminine or masculine spirits. They just almost have any sort of character. And spirits, you are most likely to sense them when the air is less dense, right? For example, at night, when the air is thin, right, then you're most likely to feel the presence of spirits. I'm not inviting you to do this. Never venture into the world of spirits because it's very dangerous. Leave alone things like mediumship or spiritism. That stuff will never ever serve you. It is very highly dangerous, especially if you have no protection. So never ever venture into that world. Now, because this topic is vast, I will split this, all right? I'm going to simply talk about how do spirits come into existence, and then the other parts I think I will talk in my next video. Spirits come first from creation, just like we are created or things are created. Some spirits are from creation, and that is where we have the spirits of good and spirits of evil, right? So spirits have been there since existence, and the evil spirits, those are what we called demons, right? And also spirits can be dead living things, including people and animals that have refused to transition. Maybe an injustice was done to them, or several things could lead to spirits not transitioning, and so they hang around, and as a result, if they had their own passions and tendencies, they tend to latch or to hook onto someone with similar tendencies and use them. Which brings me to the next thing: why are spirits attracted to you, or why are spirits attracted to us? So spirits often, they admire us because we are in a physical world. They would love to experience the physical world. They're in a distant world, and so they admire us because we are in a physical world, and they would also love to interact with this world. And so that is why they try to create a relationship with us. There are spirits of different nature, and so there are spirits that can give you knowledge. There are spirits that can also help you to grow spiritually. There are also spirits that can aid you in negative things, for example hurting people, all right, because they feed off that energy. So spirits just want to hang around you for one reason or another if there is something in it for them. Sometimes if you're in a positive mind, then a negative spirit can also come in an attempt to get emotions rolling, negative emotions rolling. And another way spirits come by is by the creation of the mind. All right, the mind is such a powerful tool. If you are someone who is constantly creating things inside your mind, then you're creating spirits. And some of these spirits, you can dissipate them, all right? You can relieve them and they will be hanging around. So spirits sometimes are our own creations. That is why it is always good to have thoughts that are beneficial, to have a personality and an automatic way of thinking that is not destructive. If you think destructive thoughts, you are creating destructive spirits, and other people can be able to pick such spirits and even act on it, right? Another way spirits come into existence is by inheritance or generational. There are spirits that can be passed from one generation to another by birth, and even interaction. Sometimes the type of interactions you have with people, including sexual interactions, right? So this is why it is highly important to guard yourself from negative interactions, because you are picking spirits even by arguing, all right, getting caught up in an argument. Also choose the people that you allow into your life, mostly, especially through relationships, because some people come with certain spirits, and if you link to them in a fleshly way, I'm talking about sexual intercourse, then you get their spirits. Either way, be a person with high self-discipline, high spiritual self-discipline in order to protect yourself, because spirits are there to use people, and you must always be on guard. Know when spirits are using you or using someone to get to you. Have a defense, a self-defense mechanism. The true adept, or someone who is ascended spiritually, is also one who is able to pick true knowledge from fake knowledge, right? Because spirits often shower us with knowledge, especially when you are on the spiritual path. Some of it is fake, so you must be able to pick the truth from the whole bunch of information and know exactly what to use, because you don't want to be a false prophet. And lastly, avoid things that violate your spirit, things that are of low bodily nature, because those are the things that will make you attractive to low spirits. And even in the interaction with others, give them empowering words, because negative words will put negative spirits into them. Anyway, this is a very vast topic, and I'm going to do part 2 and part 3. And make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, make sure to comment, because I want this stuff to be promoted. Cheers and have a great time.